How's it going, everybody? Today we're doing part 3 of the warped carpet animation. I'm going to show you a few things. I'm going to show you the tag swatches, how that's done, um, how I break apart groups, and why I even use grouped objects, or symbols you could use, but I use groups. Um, and also, some other things that will be interesting to sit around and watch. If you have questions or comments, feel free to leave them where you know where they go. All right. Now, here's the situation. We got the carpet here, and it goes backwards, like this, right? The orange rug piece is out of frame. But you see, and if you click that, you can this little clip content outside the stage box, you can see that happens. Now, I'll play the entire thing. Now you might be like, oh, see how some of these frames aren't done? Now, if I select them all, which is V, is it? Well, you can see if yeah, it's V obviously. But you can see how these are all grouped objects. You can choose the color that you want them to be. They're inside of one big group too. See, this grouped object. So if I wanted to redraw this particular shape to make it like down here or something, and then redraw this shape here, that's just how I work currently. You can always change, and people work differently, But as you can see, there is a lot of the rug changes color here. Now it's going to be entirely, I just wanted to demonstrate how I go about doing that. First of all, I'll go back to a frame I haven't worked on. Okay. And this is the Adobe Animate 2018 version. They came out with a lot of different things, but they stopped putting things out as of most recently unless you have the new operating system. But it's mostly just for web developers. But that doesn't really interest me. Okay, so you select all these things, V, hold it down, select all these things, in this case, then I break them apart, Command B, or you could go to Edit, Modify, Shape, yeah, it'd be right here, Break Apart, it'd be under Modify. I don't use that, I use a shortcut. So I break it apart. There are some people that only use the go up to the menus and do that. So I Command X that, which is cut. Select it all, break it apart because it had that extra object there. And then break apart the reference guide. I select the entire thing, and I go down to these tag swatches. Now the tag swatches, I just go to line work. After selecting it all, it puts all my line work since the lines were connected, and they're not. If they're grouped, and I tried that, it won't do anything. Watch, I'll show you. I'll do it in another frame. Boom. It did the things that weren't grouped. You see that? Terrible. So, anyways, back to the other frame. Command Z to undo that thing. Now, this is the whole object. We got all the line work since they're all touching. Now, these are my tag swatches. I'll explain those in a minute. I select the colors, and then I press K. That's the fill, and I just fill in these areas. And since they're closed in, they'll fill right away. If they weren't, then you could just go to one of these options under the paint bucket. Don't close small gaps, close small gaps, close medium gaps, close large gaps. Anyways, you do that. These can work pretty well. There's no hate on that. And then, so down here I go again, back to the middle color I chose. Now when you're working with many people and designers in the field, you're going to be dealing with people who don't like the color or don't want to see the color. So you'll have to change it all the time. Now that's a problem. That can be a problem, but if you put take swatches, then it changes all the colors throughout the entire file, which saves you a ton of time having to go, other than having to go through frame by frame by frame, recoloring everything. You don't want to do that. Once it's a small animation, then just save yourself some time, really. And I Command Shift V, and the thing that I put on the cutting board is right there. Oh, here we go. Move that over a bit. That's just a guide. There you go. That's all there is to it. Now if I want, oh, I didn't say somebody didn't like the color, right? And they're like, oh, I don't like that color. Can you make it a different, the middle color? Can you make that red? And you're like, oh, okay, fine, I'll do it. No, so no, you don't say that part. It's not like I got other things to do. You go to the middle color, right? Now I double click on that, and it pop up a menu here, and you can name whatever you want. And I just like to keep the number in case you ever need reference. You can also make it a linear gradient, radial gradient. But let's say we wanted to change it. We just shift that over to something else. Ba-ba-ba-bow. Let's do it a whole different color so we're not confused. They're like, yeah, I really like this ugly green. Can you make it like an ugly green for me? Sure, bud. And then see, through all the file, it's this ugly putrid green. Just like they wanted. Oh, wow. See, and I didn't have to, since I colored using the take swatches, it updated it and made everything look like vomit, just like they wanted. All right. But I'm going to Command Z that. Is that Command Zable? Oh God, I don't want to keep the vomit color. Anyways, yeah, so I undid that. Command Z or Control Z, depending on what you're using, system-wise. And yeah, that's how you do it. Now, if you went to, if they wanted that color, but they wanted like a particular frame to be vomit color, yeah, I only want vomit color on one frame. I don't know, or a certain amount of frames required that thing to change color. It could happen. You know, it is animation, and anything is possible. Now, you'd go to this, and it would say, then you'd unlink it, and then you could shift it to the putrid vomit color that they chose. That's not the exact one, but like I say, like, oh, then it would go through, that would only work on that one frame, see? Or you could just break it apart and then change it. There's many options as to, take swatches are good. They save a lot of time, I'll tell you that much. Now I wanted to talk about a few other things. I chose like why did I choose these colors? Now, I chose these colors by, this is not like a solid black. Now, if you use solid black, people are going to think that's too much contrast. available, it would pop out too much. In this case, I used like a dark version of this purple, this middle rug purple, to do this, and then this is a darker version of that, toned down, using let's say we went to the same version but not tagged, right? So you see how I saved a version of that? Now you got all these different sliders up here in the top corner. So you can always change or adjust. You see that? Based on the hue, the saturation, or the brightness, or RGB. You know, you can always change it in different spectrums. The slider here, right? So essentially what I did is I went to this and I pulled the slider down, you know, to a dark but not too dark, and then for the line work I did it slightly darker, so it's like a really dark purple. And for this, I was going to use white. You ever seen those old animations and they just pop too strange? So I made it a variant of went to this color again, same rug color, and then pulled it up to more of a white of that, a white version of that. Added more white. I don't know how much more ways I can say that. Essentially, that is what happened. Now, the rug continues to go backwards in one frame, in one set of 55 frames, and then for 60 frames it catches up to itself and goes off screen. I had to do those in separate animations because then when they reach the end of, what's that even called? Brain fart or what? When they reach the horizon, then they are able to, and you're able to get a few frames to choose when it starts to head backwards. Now, my system likes to choose at great convenient times to save stuff like that. Alright. So anyways, I'm thinking of changing the color of the rug, but if I need to, we've got the tag swatches here, and you can save those out with using in the color tab. I have this, and you can go to save colors, and you can save it as a .clr file. It's anywhere you want, and you can bring those colors in if you needed to, or share them with different people who are working on the animation with you. Okay, so as you see, this will be the only thing on the frame, and then as it goes on to the screen, it'll go into the background, right? And it will stop there. That's when the second part of that will occur, which is, here we go. Okay, so then it's already at the background there, and then it'll go, whoa, and it'll catch up with itself and go off screen. So that takes, freaking, how many frames is that? 110, 105, 55, 60, 115 frames. So 115 frames, and so they'll be all colored, and that is what I'm currently working on.